Hello, how's it going? Welcome back. Today I have some good news because HPI have done a thing and it's a very good thing. Now, I've been saying a lot of things about HPI recently over the last few years. Some good, some bad. Unfortunately, mostly bad. Now, a lot of it I have spoken about on this channel and some of it I haven't. Unlike all of my previous criticisms of the first HPI jump shot, I'm not sure which of this has been said on camera and which hasn't. So I've been saying for several years now that HPI are overcharging for their products. They're charging like the HPI of old. The HPI of old was a global leader in the RC industry. They had some of the best products. They had really high quality models. They were leaders in touring cars, buggies, truggies, nitros. They were right there at the top. And they were priced accordingly. The quality of HPI's fit and finish, the quality of the parts and the materials, even the quality of their instruction manuals is as good as it ever was. But the parts support has been very poor, and more importantly from a sort of sales standpoint, they no longer have the reputation they used to. People do not trust HPI like they used to, and that is why they can't charge the prices that they have been. What makes them think that they can charge the same amount of money as the likes of Arma or Traxxas, two of the most expensive brands on the market, and then you have HPI, who you can't get the parts for. You gotta wait weeks for it. Or they're selling products. I was going to say selling products that are really old, but then so is Traxxas. So, whatever. The bottom line is, if you buy an HPI and you have it in front of you, it's as good as HPI have ever been. It's everything around it which isn't. So what makes them think they can charge that sort of money? They're charging like a premium brand with really non-premium support and parts availability. However, over the weekend I had a look at Model Sport, because of course I did. And I saw an announcement. HPI and Maverick models having a price reduction. And I wanted to check it wasn't just Model Sport. And I went on other shops, Wheelspin Models for example. Nope. The retail price of the entire range, HPI and Maverick, has been reduced. Not on sale, but a reduction of the RRP, the recommended retail price. About time. About time. I've been saying it for so long. They cannot charge what they've been charging. I know they want to maintain this premium brand reputation, but the reputation is in tatters. People who know the RC industry know you are getting quality, you are getting fit and finish, you are getting a great product, but you aren't getting everything that goes with it. Now, I love HPI, always have done. I've had a fair few HPI products. Highlights include my second ever hobby grade RC. I had a Tamiya TL01, that was my first hobby grade RC, and I upgraded to an original HPI Sprint. And it blew the TL01 into the weeds. It was everything a touring car should be. It was lightweight, it was low slung with a low centre of gravity. It had ball bearings throughout, I had oil-filled shock absorbers, and it handled on rails compared to the TL01. I actually did my first ever racing with this modified HPI Sprint because we gave it adjustable suspension, adjustable camber towing. We gave it ball bearing differentials with longer drive shafts to compensate because the differentials were slightly different. I can't remember what car they were from. I believe, and I'm not entirely sure, but I believe we also altered the chassis. You had to remove certain posts to fit saddle pack batteries, which brought the weight down lower, more central, and slightly further forward. And it was great, running around with cars that really shouldn't have been running around with. It was a really good car. Really enjoyed the original Sprint. That was definitely a highlight. I also owned the very first Pro 4 in the UK, sold to me by a HPI team driver. I bought it to replace my Lossy XXS and run it on both wood and carpet. However, it was such a rigid chassis that it worked great in the high grip carpet and it was useless on the slippy wood. So I ended up using the Lossy on the wood and the HPI on the carpet. That worked really quite well. The Pro 4 was a beautiful piece of kit. And the only Nitro I've ever owned, the HPI Rush Evo. So yeah, I like HPI and I want them to succeed. So highlights of this price reduction. Well, number one for me is definitely the RS4 Sport 3. The RS4 Sport 3's retail price is now £99.99, or let's just call it £100 because I can't be dealing with any of that. £100 for your Sport 3. That was what used to be. That's the Creators Edition, Sport 3 Creators Edition, which is it's actually built. It's not a kit. It's built with no electronics, no wheels and tires, and no body shell. So it's just there for you to put your own stuff into or onto or whatever. Now, £100 for that. It has full ball bearings. It has oil-filled shock absorbers. It has a fully sealed drivetrain. It has an all-metal drivetrain. And it has some adjustability. It's a bit of a weird one. £100. It's absolutely spot on. It's almost perfect. In fact, I was always tempted. Even at, I think it was 135 it was before. 130, 135. Still a good price. At £100, that's a steal. £100 for that car, in my opinion, makes it the best bang for buck touring car on the market. The best bang for buck. It's not the best touring car, obviously, but at £100, what are you going to get? An FTX Banzai? Nah. You get a standard Tamiya TT02, but they come with a body shell and a motor, and sometimes an ESC, but they retail about 150, and the Sport 3 is way better than a TT02. Way better. The TT02 equivalent of the Sport 3 is the TT02S, which also has bearings, adjustable suspension, and shocks, oil shocks. But that's £160 retail, so you're 60% more expensive than the Sport 3 now. I mean, come on. Okay, you also get the TT02 drift version, which sounds a bit wrong. Why would you be looking at that? Just take the drift wheels and tires off, bin them, whatever. TT02D, full bearing kit, all shocks, £130 retail. That's better. You still need to get your body shell, etc., but just like you do with the Sport 3. That's the one. If I was building a TT02 now, I'd get the drift version, chuck away the drift stuff. You've actually got a better starting point than a normal TT02. Anyway, Sport 3, awesome. £100. What a bargain. Would make a few changes though. There's some things holding it back from being perfect. And HPI, I hope you're listening. You probably aren't, but listen. The dog bones were an issue. I don't know if they've sorted this or not. The dog bones were the ones at the front were slightly too short when it was first released. So when it was given full steering throw, they could pop out. That gets solved with the CV upgrade, but forget about that. It shouldn't be happening as standard. I think they did address it, but I'm not entirely sure. Here's the thing. They talk about how it's a good basis for an entry-level club car, this Sport 3, and I agree. It's also a good basis for a rally car because it's fully sealed. Anyway, and they also talk about suspension adjustability and be, configured to your driving and all that stuff. Yeah, but it's not got adjustable camber from standard. Why not? It doesn't have adjustable camber links. It's got adjustable toe links. Hello, Editor Mike here. Please ignore Video Mike. He's talking absolute nonsense. The Sport 3 has neither adjustable camber nor toe-in. So anytime I mention that there is adjustable toe-in, just slap me. There is no adjustable toe-in. None. Zero. Zip. Nada. It doesn't have adjustable camber links. HPI, please change the Sport 3 to include adjustable camber links as standard. I know you already make the product, you sell those as an optional upgrade. Include them as standard. Now, you might be thinking, £100 for that car is already a bargain. You're kind of pushing your luck for these as well. How much do you want? Here's the thing. First of all, standard links, plastic ones, non-adjustable, you can stop making them. You already manufacture the other ones, the adjustable ones, include them in the box. Disregard it. Stop making the other ones. Okay? Also, the receiver box. It comes with a receiver box, this touring car. Touring cars, hold on. Touring cars are supposed to be low slung, low centre of gravity. Have everything mounted as low as possible. What the heck? Do you need a big, sticky uppy, and it is a big receiver box. What do you need that for? No one's going to use that. Unless you're making a rally build, in which case you want to seal the receiver away from the elements. But it's not a sealed receiver box. We'll get back to that receiver box. It is rubbish. Stop including the receiver box. Stop making the non-adjustable. There you go, look. Adjustable camber. Yay. That's toe. Adjustable camber. Yay. There you go. That's the ones I meant. It has adjustable toe, but not camber, this Sport 3.
Wrong.
But this Yokomo has them both. It's adjustable camber. Like, you already make them. Stop making the other ones. Don't include the receiver box. You've covered your cost there. And it makes the car, in my opinion, absolutely flawless. Perfect for its price point. Absolutely perfect. The best car on the market for that money, hands down. Unquestionably. So that's just something to think about. Something else to think about, HPI, just to throw this out there. How much does it cost for you to pay someone to assemble it at the factory? You're selling the Creator's Edition for £100, assembled. Would you consider a builder's kit for £10 less? £90 for a Sport 3 builder's kit. Same thing, no tyres, no wheels, no body shell, no electronics. Just not assembled by you at your factory. Include a little bottle of shock oil. You pay more than £10 to have someone assemble that. You'll be saving more money and you give everybody else an option. If HPI rocked up with a Sport 3 with those adjustments I said, adjustable camber, no stupid receiver box, £90 for a builder's kit and £100 for the Creator's Edition, you'll be rolling in money. You've got the perfect entry-level RC car. Just think about it. A second highlight with the reduction in cost for the HPI products is the Venture. Here's my HPI Venture. It's fantastic. It's really good. I said when I built it, it was very, very close to being the best kit I've ever built. It fell slightly short because mine had a little bit of a sort of rumbly mesh here between the pinion and the lower gearbox there, or the transfer case. A little bit rumbly. It quietened down with use, but it was a bit grindy when I first built it. But I think that was just mine. I think a little bit of machining tolerances there. And also, the receiver box. This is the same one that was included in the Sport 3, or is included in the Sport 3, and shouldn't. Look how high that is. That shouldn't be on a touring car. Anyway, this receiver box is rubbish. The rest of the truck is awesome, by the way. Absolutely brilliant. The Venture is a fantastic truck. It's so strong, so stable, so rugged. It has the worst receiver box in the world. Why? It's not sealed in any way. There is no O-ring keeping the water out, and there's also a great big gap for the cables to come through. There's no foam, there's no rubber, there's nothing to squash the cables in to make sure it's all sealed, like on my G-Made, for example. It is a useless receiver box. Now, I know why it's a useless receiver box. They got sued by Traxxas, because of course they did. Because Traxxas bought the patent for waterproof receiver box, because of course they did. And then they sued HPI over it, because of course they did. Now, that's why HPI are too scared to include a waterproof receiver box in their cars. Don't call it a waterproof receiver box. Now, I'm not a lawyer, obviously, so I don't know where this lies, but if you called it something like weatherproof electronics box, they didn't buy the patent for weatherproof electronics box. They bought the patent for waterproof receiver box. I mean, does that solve your issue? And then you can use this or a variant of this, and it's actually good, not useless. If that doesn't work, call it a splash-proof case. Because what are Traxxas going to do? Sue every phone manufacturer in the world who's using a splash-proof case. You know, I'm sure there's ways around it. Other manufacturers sell RCs with sealed receiver boxes. So why not you? I know you got sued by Traxxas about it, but they sue everybody. They'd sue their own grandmother if they get away with it. Anyway, so I'd make that big change to the Venture. The Venture is now £174. I don't know why 174, not 175. I don't think anybody would be upset at 175, not 174. But it's £174 retail. Wonderful price for such a great truck. It is so, so good. And in this day and age, getting a fully sorted trail truck for £174 is, I can't complain. But I will, because there's some changes you need to make to the Venture. First of all, receiver box, went over that. Secondly, you've got a servo saver. You've got a servo saver. Everybody builds an HPI Venture with a servo saver delete, because trail trucks shouldn't have a servo saver. It'll save you money, HPI. You can stop making a servo saver to use a spacer, solid arm. That's what I've done. That's what everybody else does. Servo saver, get rid of it. Save you money. The bumper mounts, front and rear. You're very close to industry standard. You're basically industry standard, but you're gapping. I can't remember if it's out or in. Industry standards here, you're like 2 mil further out or 2 mil further in, so you can't use industry standard bumpers. I've had to get RC 4-wheel drive adapted bumpers so I can use industry standard axial style bumpers on this. The design is the same. I've said this before. You're not innovating anything. You're literally going from 2 holes from here to 2 holes to there. And that means that 99.9% of the bumpers on the market are not compatible with your truck unless somebody buys a very expensive RC 4-wheel drive or 3D printed bumper adapter things. That's just silly. Use the standard. Fresh coffee. Let me put it this way. If someone's in the market for a highly customized truck, they want to see what's out there and make the most, either a crazy vehicle or something that matches what they have in real life or anything else, you want as much customization options as possible. The HPI Venture almost certainly wouldn't be on their shortlist. Probably an axial, to be fair. But this limited scope for what bumpers you can fit to it limits everything else in terms of looks, limits what shells you can use, etc, etc. Yes, the 3D printed parts aren't expensive. The RC 4-wheel drive metal ones which I've got here are quite expensive. HPI just use standard, industry standard mounts and everything will be fine, and all of a sudden this is back on the table. Now, don't get me wrong, with a retail price of £174, it should be on the table now anyway. I mean, it should have been anyway. It's a great truck, but okay, the 3D printed parts, add an extra 20 quid maybe to them. For less than £200, you still got a really sorted trail truck. It's still a very good deal. However, HPI make those couple of changes, you'll be amazed at the way the market reacts. Because they'll be like, all of a sudden, oh, I can just fit something straight on my Venture. No mucking around. What a difference that would make. And while we're at it, just briefly, HPI, if you're going to release a version 2 Venture with proper bumper mounts, better receiver box, please also redesign your skid plate. I've got one here, 3D printed. Removes that sort of bowed out mountain shape in the center of it, which hangs up on everything. Get rid of that. If this company can 3D print one, you can make one. And the battery as standard is along here. I've got a 3D printed battery tray here. Lowers the center of gravity, brings the weight forward. You can do that too. Just do there. And then rather than the battery brace, I've got a chassis brace there instead now. You wouldn't even need to change any price. You're just changing which parts are manufactured to make new moldings. I'm not suggesting you necessarily do all this, but it would make the Venture a better truck. A Venture version 2 with these little things addressed, same retail price. Print some money. Print money, £174. Someone wants to. A lot of people build trail trucks in order to make a customized build for looks alone. Right? This would be the cheapest way to do that if you get all this stuff right. But anyway, £174 for an HPI Venture, bargain, absolute bargain. If you haven't bought yourself a Venture and you want a trail truck, it's a phenomenal truck. Really, really good, really well made. The quality of material is amazing, amazing. Yeah, nothing more I can say about it. It's fantastic. Seriously, buy a Venture. Anyway, my last highlight for these price reductions, the HPI Vorza, the Vorza Flux. Now, what's better between the HPI Vorza Flux and the Arma Typhon 6S buggy? I don't know. What I do know is this. The Vorza's retail price is £176 less. Wow. Vorza now retails for £424. Still a lot of money, but it's a 6S buggy, 1/8 scale. brushless. Yeah. Your rivals are the likes of the Arma Typhon, £600 retail. That's a lot to justify that price difference. Almost £200 more for the Arma. And people like the Vorza. The Vorza is a very well regarded buggy. The Trophy Truggy is actually, or the Trophy Buggy is actually cheaper. Again, it's 300 plus, but the Vorza is the flagship. I'll talk about the buggy because the Vorza should be a buggy as far as I'm concerned. There is a Vorza Truggy, slightly more expensive. But the Vorza buggy at £424 versus the Arma at 600. I mean, that's a deal, isn't it? If I was in the market for a 6-cell buggy, frankly, if I was going to go up to 6-cell, a buggy's probably what I would do. I've been looking at Typhons, just coveting them, really. I have no intention of paying for a Typhon, frankly. Not with everything coming up, wedding, honeymoon, car, repairs. We need a deposit, we're still renting, all of that. I'm not going to buy a £600 RC car, but if I was, I wouldn't buy a Typhon anymore. I would get a Vorza, because that's just a ridiculous price difference. And apparently they go like stink, and they handle great, and they're tough as nails. What's not to like? And on top of all that, they reduced the price of the Mavericks as well, and that actually took me by surprise, because HPI needed to reduce the prices. They didn't need to reduce the Maverick prices. The Mavericks were already very competitive. But now you've got Mavericks, and some of the entry-level RTR brushed ones are 130. You get Maverick brushless ready to run for 190 or 200 now, depending on the model. All of a sudden, you're looking at a Maverick Quantum 4-wheel drive for the same price as an FTX Outlaw or an FTX Carnage. That right there is what's known as a no-brainer. A Quantum brushless is cheaper than an FTX Outlaw brushless. Yeah. Mavericks have gone from being very well priced and highly recommended for a first RC car to probably the best value RC cars on the market now. And certainly you can get stuff from the Far East, you can get stuff from China, and it's just a rebrand of a rebrand, and you don't know which one's which, and they all use the same bits, but sometimes the bits don't fit, and blah, blah, blah. You've all that. But in terms of what you can walk into a hobby shop in the Western world, the UK, Europe, America, Canada, whatever, order one, wow, you're going to struggle to beat Maverick for value now. So, yeah, HPI have done a very, very good. I'm really, really pleased to see it. I was always very tempted to get an RS4 Sport 3 Creator Edition, because it's like a blank slate when it comes to building a really, really sorted street bashing touring car. And now it's like, it's a no-brainer. That's the one you get. Especially if they make those changes, just saying. I don't think it will at the moment though, because as I said, wedding, honeymoon, deposit. The Alfa Romeo needs a lot of work done on the suspension. I've just paid for a head gasket on her Panda. The old Mercedes 190 also needs work. Yes. But HPI, if you want to throw me a bone, and when I say bone, I mean a HPI RS4 Sport 3, please do. That'd be great. But where now? Where now for HPI? Well, that price hike. I've said it for years for HPI. They're relying on selling few models at an extortionate rate, where they should be selling lots of models at a lower rate. Is now what they're doing, and it's great to see, and it will pay off. It will absolutely pay off for them. So yes, go out and show HPI some love. Now what's next for them? Well, I've been thinking about this. What do you do when you've taken all this money that you've made? Sort your supply lines, first of all, HPI. Make sure parts are available, not weeks later, but there and then. I want to be able to go on wheel spin models. I want to be able to go Model Sport. I want to be able to walk into Tay Models up in Scotland and be like, I need bits from my HPI, and they're there, or there the next day, or whatever. That's important. That's the number one thing. Also, HPI Racing. You don't make any racing products anymore. How about you do? Not now. This is the sort of road to recovery that you should have been on a few years ago. This is the sort of thing I expect. Really good products at really decent prices. Get the internet talking. Speaking of getting people talking, you never mentioned anything. I saw the HPI had a reduction in retail price from Model Sport. I went to see if HPI had announced anything. Nothing on their website. The 4th or 5th news article on their website is from years ago. It's so HPI, for goodness sake. Keep everybody up to date. You should have been pasting that across the sky. We are reducing all prices permanently. Everybody get hyped. Not a chirp out of you on your own website or on Pussbook or anything else. Why aren't you telling people? The HPI, tell everybody your prices have gone right through the floor, and now everybody should be jumping on that bandwagon. Take all that money, recover. First of all, recover, because you know you're still recovering. Then what? Well, you're called HPI Racing. How about a race car? GT12 is huge. HPI RS2 Sport. Entry-level GT12 car made of composite. HPI RS2 Pro. High-end GT12 car made of carbon fibre. Then you can use the word, the phrase, the name HPI Racing. Because you're making, poach people from poach someone from Schumacher or Zen or something. Make a nice sorted GT12 car. Touring cars, not so much. Touring cars are, the market's not so healthy for touring cars, high-end touring cars, I mean. You know, a lot of companies are dropping out of high-end touring cars. I couldn't believe when I heard Associated were dropping out of it. It's crazy. But it makes sense now, the way the market is. GT12, poach some people, develop a really robust, decent, honest, entry-level GT12 car, call it the Sport, print money. Make a high-end version, call it the Pro. I mean, people will try it. If it's competent and reviews well, people will try it. Why not? That's just my idea though, because I would love to run an HPI again. So thank you for watching. Go out and buy an HPI and tell them I sent you. And thank you HPI for doing the right thing finally. This is what we needed. This is what you needed. This is what we and you needed. We all needed. So yes, great. Great news. I'm actually genuinely excited about it. I'm excited to see where this goes. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Bye HPI.